on the website so Dan can see it and Evan can see it when they have a chance.
Okay.
So the spreadsheets from Park Mobile were circulated. I think they're very helpful. Just having a blank sheet to show streets and blocks of streets and whatnot, and hours of the day and whatnot. I think that will be very helpful. In thinking about what I had been envisioning was using the full vehicle and traffic chapter from the code update for the parking proposal, the parking public hearing. In thinking about it, that may not be a bad idea. That may not be a good idea, because there are many controversial things that the code update may be proposing that would get in the way of the parking committee's proposal. So now I'm rethinking it and bringing it down to just the elemental changes, the basic changes, of which right now there's only one that I can think of, and that's Haldane Street. Changing Haldane to one way and making it no parking on one side. The rest of the streets, we'll just leave them alone, including Railroad. Railroad can be left as two-way, and because it's no parking on one side anyway now, so we'll just leave it as two-way, and the parking spaces remain exactly as they are, the numbers. I did find one additional off-street parking residence, which I think the number had been 33, it goes down to 32. And that was a residence on Kemble Avenue, which has a garage on Rock Street. So originally that had been identified as a parcel that did not have our off-street parking, but they do. So that number has gone down. I have updated chapter 127. Chapter 127 is the chapter in the village code that deals with residential parking. So what I've done is I've updated that chapter to include references to the various streets for which residential parking will be restricted, and the hours of residential parking, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I think that's about it as far as that one chapter. The other chapter, vehicles and traffic, I'm recommending we just do the one change for Haldane Street. However, John First, our village attorney, has recommended that with the proposal to do on-street metering, that we include that in chapter 127, vehicle and traffic. So I will work on getting that incorporated as well. So those are the materials that we would need to go forward from a village code point of view. We'll also need a secret evaluation, which should be very similar to the secret evaluation for short-term rentals. I will need a resolution from the village board to proceed from a public hearing. We'll need the village board to also pass a resolution that it will be the lead agency for this. And then the other elements of the public hearing is the presentation that was brought forward at the public meeting that will need to be updated. And we talked about that after the public meeting. And I think that's it to proceed to a public hearing.
Okay, but we're planning on having a public meeting before the public hearing, yes?
So sorry, Jack. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you. I forgot about that.
Okay. So adding the metering into chapter 127.
Yeah.
Will that be done the same time for the parking proposal public hearing?
Yes, it would need to be, yes.
Okay.
The public hearing would need to be on the concept of implementing residential parking on the 11 streets and metering on Main Street and metering the mayor's park lot. Those three concepts in terms of metering.
Okay.
Sorry, repeat that. Marie, 11 streets, the metering on Main Street, metering at Mayor's Park, and what was the other one?
I think that was it, Rebecca.
Yeah.
There's one other change. The currently 127 talks about the municipal parking lot that currently exists. And it talks about the municipal parking lot as having a kiosk into which people insert their credit cards and from which they receive a receipt. So I've modified that to be the use of a mobile parking app. And that entire description for the current parking lot next to Riverview would also apply to the parking lot at Mayor's Park. So there's no invention that's needed there.
Okay. The metering, I don't know if we discussed it the day I was gone, metering on Main Street now, just we're having that 7 days a week, or is metering on Main Street just on weekends?
So we discussed it last week and didn't, in my notes, I don't think we reached resolution on what days of the week it would be metered, what hours of the day it would be metered, or what the rate would be on different days of the week or different hours of the day. And that's all in your hands.
I would recommend that we do the metering on Main Street on the weekends. I'm not sure if we need to include Friday or not. And I feel it should be like from 10 o'clock till 5 or 6, whatever, or maybe it could be later on weekends. I don't know. I just think it'll be way more palatable for residents. It's really not going to change much of, what they have now. And if we have spaces where they can go to, like Metro North and other places, then just for the 2 days, and it's, starting from 10 to 5, I don't think it's going to be a huge inconvenience. Whereas if it's sure the whole week, people just stopping and getting something or whatever, I think it's going to cause way more pushback. I mean, maybe we would make some money or whatever, but I think that the pushback we'll get from that, and I don't know how to deal with. I think, some people have, just a few people that have followed stuff, feel like, well, if I want to go down on Main Street during the week and I'm, business person, or I'm stopping somewhere, or I want to get something to eat or whatever, now I'm going to have to pay and do this whole app thing, whatever. So I can see their point. I mean, I think I would feel, I come down on Main Street every, luckily I have a parking spot, so I don't have to worry about that. But one of the big perks of being a mayor. But I can see people not, kind of pushing back or not feeling, too good about that.
Yeah, I agree. I was, as we were doing this, I'm thinking, what, it'd be a real inconvenience for me because I'm back and forth all the time. So
yeah.
Can we make it weekends and national holidays? Because
Yes.
that Monday. Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Weekends and holidays. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Rebecca, are you good with that? Or your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I am good on that. I see finding a middle ground, and I think this is a good place to start, and you could change it as people get used to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree. Okay, that's good. I guess next is the fee. I think $4 is too much. I would love to just bang people for $4 or whatever. I don't know how everyone else feels. I think there is a threshold, or are we trying to gouge people or whatever? I'm not sure what I mean. Right now we're doing, what is the municipal lot, $1.50?
$1 an hour.
$1, which I think is way too low.
Right.
I would say anything from $2.50 or $3. $3 might be too much. $2.50 for sure. I could see. I don't know how everyone else feels.
You're talking Main Street now,
Just
right?
Main Street, yeah.
I agree with 250 and see how it goes. 250 and make it a 3-hour max, and then they have to move. So I think that's a really solid starting point.
Okay,
I agree.
so
That
now,
sounds good.
what about the ends of the intersecting streets with Main Street? The same Saturdays and Sundays and holidays, 250 an hour, 3-hour max.
I think so. It's pretty much part of Main Street in
Yep.
my mind.
I agree.
Okay,
I am tomorrow. I'm meeting with Metro North about signs. It's pretty much a go ahead with them. I don't know if we discuss this or not, or just bear with me or tell me to stop talking. Either way, but they've agreed to let us use the whole. It's kind of right after Foundry Park, the southernmost section, but it's all in one straight row. It's like 50 spaces about facing the river. So there's a guardrail right there, so it's easy signage. So tomorrow I'm meeting with them to go over placement of signs. They've agreed on the signs. Jen Zwark helped me. I sent her some ideas and she worked on those. So they've agreed to those. So the signage is good. I did a little presentation, reason why I wasn't here last Wednesday at Haldane, which is a really hard room to give a presentation on because of the sound and also the distance I was away from the screen. So I can't say that it was a best presentation, but I am meeting with them tomorrow morning, first thing. And we're, so they're following up, I guess their board decided to continue and see where it goes. So we'll be talking to them tomorrow morning, and there'll be more. I'm not sure who the people are exactly that'll be on the call, but we're going to do a Zoom meeting there. So I think that's really potential. I think that's going to happen. So that'll also be good.
Dave, is Metro North also weekends and holidays?
Yeah, it's weekend and their holidays, which we have to probably specify.
Right.
But
All
yeah,
right. But those are going to be federal holidays, probably.
I'm not
I
sure
don't-
how they.
yeah, I'm not sure that they are. It's whatever Metro North observes as a holiday, and it's inconsistent. My remembrance was it's inconsistent with federal holidays.
I think it is. Yeah, I
Oh.
agree.
Okay.
But it'll be the major holidays anyway.
Right.
So Mayor's Park, currently it's $1 an hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, except from November 15th to April 15th, when it is free parking from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m. so that people can park their cars there during the winter months. So the question is, I agree, $1 is insufficient. What do you want to make it?
We're talking about the parking lot or Mayor's Park?
Sorry, the parking lot.
Parking lot.
I think that would be the same I think while discussing it, I think the Mayor's Park would be the same,
I agree.
right? If it's
I
different,
do
you'll go to
too.
whichever one's cheaper or whatever. So pretty much an extension of it.
I do too. And if it's only weekends, is it only going to be weekends too?
No, currently at the municipal lot, it's every day of the week.
Okay, so, and it's going to stay that way?
Yes, what I would
Okay.
recommend is that whatever we charge from 5 p.m. till the next morning, it only be $1 an hour. And that's just,
I agree that it should be, different.
Okay.
Should be definitely different rates for different times.
Okay, so it would be $2.50 during the day, and then from 5 p.m. to the morning, it's $1 an hour?
I'd like to even consider more than $2.50 an hour.
At that lot, huh?
At that lot, I'd like to consider $3 or $4 at that lot, just to put in perspective. And I know I had given you some numbers last week. Thus far in the fiscal year 2020-2021, we have brought in over $25,000 at the lot The highest number fiscal year was in 2016, 2017, when we brought in $22,000. So we have exceeded the income, the revenue from 2016, 17 by $3,000, and will likely get to $4,000 additional revenue in this year. And that's at $1 an hour. My observation is that on weekends, we get people coming in at 8 o'clock in the morning and paying for 7 hours of parking. Those are obviously hikers. They are not people going to Main Street at 8 o'clock in the morning. So definitely $3 an hour. I'd like to consider, maybe what we do is we start off at $3 an hour and see how it works. The nice thing about Park Mobile is we just make an online change and it goes to $4 an hour.
Okay, but that's weekends you're talking about, right?
That's a good point, Jack.
Yeah.
Weekdays, you're right. I think we should keep it at $1 an hour weekdays. And on weekends, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., go to at least $3 an hour.
Okay.
Now, are we going to, there's going to be no limit on the time you can park there at the parking lots, though?
That was what we were thinking, but it was our thinking. We hadn't cast anything in concrete.
Okay.
Murray, just a quick question. In terms of weekdays, how many users are we seeing on average on a week? Do you happen to know that info?
Just today, hold on just a second. I happen to be monitoring today. Wednesday is a good day for us because of Riverview's pizza night. Right now, we've brought in $30. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cars parked there thus far today. And this is obviously, it's not a Friday. Friday, we have higher than that. I can give you last Friday, but I don't remember what the weather was last Friday. Friday numbers are normally higher, but we have never reached capacity this year on a Friday that was not a holiday. This year we have reached capacity well, every weekend day this month, and I think most weekend days last month.
And Marie, are you suggesting that for Mayor's Park now, not the parking lot, but Mayor's Park, nose in parking should be treated the same as the parking lot or Main Street?
Parking lot. So Mayor's Park and the municipal lot, my suggestion is that they be treated the same.
And no limit on how long or a limit on how long?
No limit.
No limit, okay. So you're gonna get hikers who will fork over the money, basically. Okay.
One more question, Marie. How long has the price been at $1?
Since June of 2016.
I was just going to suggest, but only because I think of, the challenges that the village has in terms of paying for certain things. I was just going to say, would it be silly to say $125?
$1.25.
Yeah,
There.
it's been 20
Yeah,
instead of $1.
I think we can do better than that and still bring in a lot of revenue. It'll be $1 on the weekdays and Saturdays and Sundays, which is when we get full, $3 an hour.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that. I was
okay.
saying, should for the weekdays, I was saying, should you do a small increase that is not overwhelming and that would still allow for Riverview to benefit from those customers coming?
I hadn't thought about that, Rebecca, but that's not a bad idea. How do the other folks feel about that?
Well, playing devil's advocate, one of the sort of, underlying whatever's that does, is the situation of the people in the condos there. And that they're all, that thing was built at a time and they all have one spot, and we are removing, by doing the parking permit, their overflow into, in that direction, even though we're leaving some of it. And it just seems to me that from the beginning, leaving it at $1 during the week gives their guests a cheap alternative to, parking if they come and visit, or if they have a party. Now, I know that parties aren't, but nevertheless, I think it would reduce the resistance from one constituency.
If it remains at $1.
Yeah, if you just don't change everything, again, in terms of consensus building and getting this thing passed, I think I would start off with it just $1, and then come the holidays or something, or leaf peeping season or something, then maybe you want to pump it up a little bit.
Just playing devil's advocate to your devil's advocate. The Northern Avenue, which
Yeah.
abuts,
Yes,
is free parking, non-resident.
I know.
So that's an alternative.
But I've several people, I take the dog group as a temperature of the village.
Yep.
And there are several people who live in the condos, and they have all said the same thing, which is that they all have 2 cars.
Yeah.
And they all have relations, and I'm sure that they will see that there's still the free parking, but there's no guarantee of it,
That's
obviously.
true. That's true.
And so having $1 an hour parking, if you're going to have, let's say, visitors or a dinner party on a, Thursday night, I just think, why raise another source of objection? I mean, our goal here is to get it through and see how it works.
Right. Good points, Jeff.
I don't think a quarter is going to be really the cause of their concern if we look at the quarter.
All right.
I think that there will be, the question is going to also come from them, well, you're eliminating all this other parking, and now where are we going to go? Which is the reason why I was hoping that we can get this mound out of the highway department so that can be, but that's moving slowly for whatever reason.
All right, I'll do whatever you all, again, it's.
I mean, I'm totally whatever everyone else thinks. I don't know if a quarter is gonna make a difference. I do hear what you're saying, and I think it should stay close to $1, if not $1. I mean, if we stay at $1, that's fine, but it has been $1 for quite a while, and that's a really low price.
I know,
Or you could take all of those points into consideration, do it, leave it at 125, and then if there's resistance or people that are saying that they do have an issue, then you could take that into consideration and then change it.
That's true. It's something you could give back after the public meeting, if the resistance came. So that, yes, that's makes sense.
One other factor to consider: many people currently at Springbrook park by Mayor's Park.
Mm-hmm.
It's a short walk, but they park there for free, and so that's being taken away from them.
Well, maybe we can do something down there for during the weekday. I mean, I don't know how we do that. That doesn't get used a lot during the week. I mean, people will park in the parking lot and pay regardless if there's open spots at Mayor's Park.
That's true.
So, I mean, maybe we just do Mayor's Park during the weekend, like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because I think hikers start coming in Friday. Maybe I'm off on that, but I feel they do. So maybe Mayor's Park, we leave as is, and we meter it on the weekends. And from kind of based on my little experiment with parking down there, when that was kind of the height of the season, it was like, people were willing to pay $20 for probably I think the average was 6 hours, 6 or 7 hours. So that's $3 an hour,
Yeah.
if people
Yeah.
were willing to pay.
Yeah,
So, go ahead, Maria.
no. So, are we thinking, I like the idea of not metering Mayor's Park during the week. I'm thinking of the workers at Riverview, by the way, as well, because that's where they park now. If we were to meter Mayor's Park Saturdays, Sundays, did you say Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays and holidays, Dave?
I think it should be Friday, but we could check that out. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I think hikers start showing up on Fridays. Maybe I'll take a look this week and whatever.
What I can do,
Saturday and Sunday.
what I can do is I can do a comparison of at the municipal lot to
Right.
see how many people are parking there on Fridays for 5, 6, 7, or 8 hours. That may influence. Okay, so Fridays, municipal lot, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. Okay, I'll have that by next week. So, good.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I know that the Boy Scouts use Mayor's Park on Thursday. Small group of
Yeah, I think we
boys.
could also make, sorry, I think we could also make exceptions or let the police know, like for boys, people that are using Mayor's Park, and if they're residents, regardless of what day it is, there should be exceptions for that. I don't know how we work that out, but as long as the police know, or, usually they have to go to the rec department in order to use the park. So definitely, I think the Girl Scouts are using it also for at least one meeting,
Yeah.
and Presbyterian Church uses it if
On
it's ever
Sundays,
nice out. So I don't think those groups should have to pay, or residents shouldn't have to pay,
right,
regardless of the day.
right.
So we should make sure that we include that when we, in our plan, so people know that, like, okay, I want to go down there, now I can't even go there to walk my dog, whatever.
But you're saying that we would turn it, that we would for events that had gone through, let's say the rec department, we would turn the metering off.
I don't think you want to do that because what you want to do is put up cones.
Yeah.
No parking cones. You
Okay.
turn the meters off, 8 o'clock, somebody will be in there for the day
Okay,
for free.
okay.
One other thing, as I really think, and I've run this by Marie a couple times, but I really think we should meter a section, either the riverfront on West Street. I think we should meter it and make it like 2-hour parking, or, I think it is 2-hour parking right now, but
2 hours. But can you do that? I mean, can we do that? Because that's in the residential.
Parking district, right. Fran and I did a field trip today, a road trip, and we went down to, we paid special attention to West Street. West Street signage is very, it's on the east side of West Street, it's 4-hour parking. On the east side, the west side of West Street, it's 2-hour parking. But immediately below that, it's a sign that says park open 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. or something like that, which unless you read it very carefully, you might think it's 2-hour parking from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. You're right, Jack. The law in chapter 120, I can't remember the number, says that it's 2-hour parking below the railroad tracks on all streets except North Street. And the signage below the railroad tracks is all over the place. There are West Street, the west side of West Street is the only place that has 2-hour parking. It's 4-hour parking or whatnot.
But could you meter it, Marie, or does that get in the way of people who are residents there, because they're allowed to park forever, aren't they? For free.
If they have a residential parking permit, they are permitted to park for an unlimited amount of time. I also did a quick count of the number of residences that have off-street parking below the railroad tracks to determine whether or not that area conforms to the 80-20 rule. And I also checked with Jeff. There are about 20 parking permits out for the area below the railroad tracks. And that has been consistent for the past number of years. The other thing I would say is that enforcement is very inconsistent below the railroad tracks.
Mm.
So Dave asked that I do an analysis of the streets below the railroad tracks, consistent with the analysis of the 11 streets above the railroad tracks. So I can't answer the question of whether or not metering West Street would be consistent with the residential parking district
Right.
is currently existing. I hope to have an answer by next week on that.
Okay. I mean, I think it would be great if we could do it. It rationalizes the whole parking thing throughout the village, and it gets crowded down there, and I think it would be good.
Yes, it would. And someone is likely to bring up a comparison of the implementation of residential parking above the tracks and below the tracks.
Right.
Below the tracks, you get a permit that exempts you from 2-hour parking.
Mhm.
Above the tracks, you get a permit that allows you to park for as long as you want on the specific streets. So there is a difference in the way it's administered. It would be great if we could make them the same, but I don't know that we have the parking spaces for that.
And I think it's a lot harder down there because the main street there's a lot of residential, like,
It's almost all residential.
yeah, only a few spots, pretty much.
Right, right.
But you know, Laura's opening her wine bar at some
Yeah.
point soon.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
you know, presumably people will come to it in other ways than the train or walking. So it's going to be, by the way, just on that sort of subject, the garage on Main Street, you know,
Yes,
was the permit to put on a second story denied, or has it not come before?
it hasn't come to the best of my knowledge, it hasn't come before the planning board or the ZBA.
Okay, because that's another potential of really upping
Which,
traffic,
that's
whether,
the garage next to the foundry?
No, across the street, Impel's old garage next to.
Oh,
the
Impulse,
issue.
yeah. I
Yes.
thought you were talking about that other garage that they were putting a second story on, so never mind.
no, this one, which is,
Right, yeah,
from what I understand, the plan is to, you know, build a second floor, which apparently is okay with zoning and the footings of the building, and move you know, a tech business on the second floor, and then redo the ground floor and break it up into sort of like small businesses, a la the shops or something. But it struck me as being a significant traffic
Yeah,
Yeah.
generator, right.
generator. Yeah.
Although if the second floor is technology, it's probably Monday through Friday.
Yes.
And if the first floor is shops, then it's 7 days a week.
Yes. So I just don't know if we'd want to put that into our calculations. I mean, I don't know how we do, but
right.
it's an element.
So right now, the space is not counted because there are no residences on that property. And from what you described, that wouldn't change. No
That-
residences.
Also, are we counting Archie's business? You know, the residences in that his building
Mhm.
are all have access to the parking on Depot Square. which is free and,
Yep.
limited, but still it's free. Do you want me to count those apartments in the
No.
main street? No. Okay.
No, because they're Depot Square,
Okay.
and Depot Square is not part of the 11 streets.
Okay.
And Archie's address, he may claim a Main Street address, but the building, the parcel, is a Depot Square parcel.
Okay.
So I guess the question is, when do you think the presentation will be ready to go to a public meeting?
Well, I have most of the simplified presentation that primarily focuses on the permit parking and the metering,
Okay,
about 80% complete.
okay,
And I've been waiting for, figures to plug in. I'm going to do a simpler chart than what Park Mobile sent us, because I think that's just it's too small and it's too complicated. So I'm going to probably call on Rebecca for a little help in terms of creating a chart or two. And so I'm comfortable. Where are we today? Today is Wednesday. I can have it ready for you all by the next meeting, and then.
why don't we plan that at the next meeting, we
Okay.
review your presentation.
Okay.
I will have all of the other materials ready, and I will circulate them to you before the meeting.
Okay.
Chapters 126, 127, 126 and 127, the secret, the EAF. We'll need to get a resolution as lead agency. And so today is the 4th, the 12th. So 5/19, we'll review the materials.
Mhm.
With an eye toward a public meeting. I'm
Mhm.
going to say the first week in June.
Mhm.
Because if there are any problems with the materials, I think we want to go through them one more time.
Mhm.
So potential public meeting, I think that will be June 3rd.
That's fine with me.
Okay. Anything else that you want to discuss tonight?
No,
I just have something to ask, and if it's a no, it's completely fine. But I was wondering if the village board would possibly consider, even though she volunteered her time, a very small stipend for Emily May Cheadle for the work that she did on the map. When we originally had the conversation, we thought it would maybe be about 2 or 3 hours of time, but she dedicated, she hasn't made any calls to me or anything like that, but a couple weeks ago when we went into it and we needed the changes quickly because Jack was doing the presentation for the meeting, I had to put the pressure on her to see if we could get those changes. And so we just didn't know what we were going into. And she ended up working on it somewhere between, 8 and 9 hours. So in my mind, I was like, well, if the village can't afford to do it, because I like working with people like this on additional projects, I thought, I would pull it out of my own account. But I thought, let me see if the village would consider something like this.
What were you
And that would
thinking?
allow us,
What amount?
I was thinking somewhere between $50 and $100.
Okay. Dave, what do you think?
I think it's fine.
Let's go with 100.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put in a request to Michelle and Jeff.
Thank you.
Good idea, Rebecca.
Very
Yeah,
good.
and we need to advocate for the talent that exists in our village and allow for
Absolutely.
them to be engaged in the work that everyone's doing,
Nice,
and build
nice,
relationships with you guys.
nice thought.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, so next Wednesday, same time, same channel.
right.
Okay.
I'll try and get this, the PowerPoint to you all on Tuesday. Okay,
That'd be great.
okay.
And let me know, Jack, what, what work we need to do on any charts so I can start preparing.
I will. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you all.
Thanks,
Take-
everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.